Good afternoon. In the meantime today, I would like to title this reflection, The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. We are being assaulted from all sides. Climate change is likely to heat the world another 6 degrees Fahrenheit in the next 50 years, producing sea level rise that will displace over 100 million people, uninhabitable cities, and arid farmland with insufficient crop yields. Inequality in income and race is producing a frantic us versus them mentality and autocratic governments that are more than willing to insulate the super wealthy few. A global pandemic that does not respect national boundaries, ideology, age, or religion. It only respects face masks about 85% of the time. To this apocalypse, I would add the fourth horse person who wears the cloak of ignorance and intransigence. Now, there are perfectly good solutions to the climate change and pandemic challenges if the public and the politicians would only heed science-based advice. So far, this is not happening. There are also solid political economic adjustments that will help us reduce the grotesque unfairness and injustice in wealth accumulation. So far, that is not happening either. There is an enormous difference between the righteous behavior all the world religions encourage and the self-righteous behavior, which only helps dictators and global corporations. What role could the church play in navigating these rough waters? Should we pretend it will all go away and hope for a business as usual sometime in the future? Or should we change? There is a growing chasm between young people marching in the streets and most older folks clinging to old ideas from the past. The XR, or Extinction Rebellion group, that has been drawing attention to climate change issues and the need for strong action now. These are mostly young people doing dramatic things in England and elsewhere to garner public attention to a planetary, life-threatening cause. Should the church support this, or should we continue to hold millions of dollars in oil and gas leases for the diocese? What if the diocese divested its fossil fuel portfolio and put the money in renewable energy projects? People are on the march globally for Black Lives Matter, and that is long overdue. To meekly proclaim that, quote, all lives matter is to change the subject and ignore the conditions that cause society to declare Black lives do not matter for the past 400 years. No one has the right to change the subject. No one has the privilege to ignore the cries of people who have been oppressed for so long. There are even books out claiming that the causes of racism in the United States have to do with the misguided policies of the liberals. No one, not even people of color, gets to judge and point the finger. And I am growing uncomfortable with how white privilege even permeates our liturgy and our ability to proclaim a loving and merciful God to all people. As a tiny piece of the body of Christ, the members of Grace Episcopal Church need to wrestle with these concerns and be willing to change the things that make us comfortable as well as those things that make us uncomfortable. We cannot unseat George Floyd. We cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. Studies of drowning victims have shown that most people drown in water that is not over their head. They drown because they panic. There will be a future for humanity, and there will be a post-pandemic era. We can address the overwhelming challenges facing us if we do not panic. Giving into fear makes people self-concerned, and then the worst things happen. The role of the church is to help calm people and help us move from fear to altruism. Faithful people everywhere need to proclaim the love of God in very practical terms. Shout it from the roof. Put it on our electronic sign. can we help you?